Hello, this is Aman Pourkarimi, Head of Consulting at Grey Doors Group. We're a specialist department within the business travel sector, looking at industry trends, supplier pricing and innovations, as well as traveller sentiment and corporate strategy, all designed to put our clients ahead of the game in terms of their business travel programs. What I'm going to be focusing on today is a piece of research by the Business Travel Association, which I guess commissioned Nina Pinter, if that's the right word. They're a consultancy much like Grey Doors Group consultancy within the business travel sector. And it focuses on the pricing models, and it's referred to as a time for a change in regards to what travel management companies' pricing models are when working with corporate businesses. So the highlight here is that obviously because of COVID-19, it's had a very detrimental impact on the travel sector. And of course, as corporates, using suppliers who are struggling financially is not good practice for multiple reasons, although you can take short-term advantages of that. Of course, service offerings tend to be impacted in the long haul, so it doesn't benefit everyone. And COVID-19 was the precursor to it, but of course there was more prior to that. And as the report rather cleverly quotes is a Warren Buffett quote that says, when the tide goes out, you can see all those who have been swimming naked. And of course that means it's exposing the businesses who were perhaps struggling financially. And as the tide goes out, for all those who have perhaps had poor financial practices have been exposed. And we've seen many travel management companies either be bought out or file for Chapter 11. So indeed, this is a discussion that's very much warranted and interests me because I work in the middle. I work with my own clients, and I work for a travel management company and their clients. So I see both sides of it, and I'm going to give my perspective on that. So firstly, let's expose how travel management companies make their revenues. You can break it down to two forms, one from the supplier and then also from the client. So in terms of the clients, it's in terms of fees, and in terms of the suppliers, it's commissions, overrides and rebates. So, and traditionally, if you look at the percentage split, it's 1/3 from the fees, and the 1/3 from commissions, and another third from rebates and overrides. So the issue here is that with the advent of procurement teams specializing in business travel, is that you see more squeeze on the fees. So that's squeezing the revenues, and then you see airlines looking to go direct, and also squeezing the commissions that they're giving to travel management companies. So it's getting a tight and uncomfortable space for travel management companies. And what this means is that this is impacted upon the kind of quality of service that we can give. And although short term it benefits to squeeze your suppliers for revenues, of course at some point that's going to impact on services and innovation. So it's not a sustainable model, and all that's happened is that COVID-19 has just really exacerbated that issue. Now, if we look at the fee side on their own, parking the supplier side, this is what this article looks at, is the fees. And it breaks down the models, the particular pricing models, into, it shows the traditional transaction fees, so it's a pay-as-you-go service. It also looks at a subscription fee model, much like you do if you pay for, your Sky or Virgin Active or whatever. Is that what you get there is a fee for one type of service, and then as you scale up you pay more, in terms of what you get out of it. And then also there's the management fee model, which is often an annual fixed fee that you get there. And then there's a variety of others that have come into the market, bundle pricing, trip fees, and I'll go into some of these in a moment. But the premise of this particular article is that the transaction fee model is antiquated and needs to be reviewed, because that is often the standard, the first step in discussions when a TMC and a corporate procurement organization comes in and discusses. Now, obviously, transactions, the benefits there is that if you're working on a transaction fee model for the client, the benefit is that you are able to see the costs and attribute it to the cost centers in which are effectively resulting in that cost. From a travel management company, it's not preferred, because although it's quite simplified in terms of putting that into practice, the issues is that if there are no transactions, there's no fees, but the services are running behind the scenes. And the services are typically, you've got your travel desk staff, which are permanent contracts, you've got your account management, you've got your tech support, 24-hour services, and then obviously you've got the running and maintenance of the technology, and subscriptions to the IATA and so on. So there's all sorts of fixed costs. Now, here are my recommendations and my views on this article. I think it's right to have a review and look at the transactional fee model and accept that that's not the only model. So I myself, when I represent clients, I look at what the client is needing. So if you're looking at a transactional fee model, it benefits clients that want a low-touch service and effectively need a platform in which they can make bookings, have that fulfilled, and potentially get some off-the-shelf reporting that comes with it, and invoicing data as well. So if they're looking for more services, then obviously a transactional fee model then becomes questionable. So for me, it's a skilled procurement person that identifies what the needs are, and then it's also for a skilled salesperson to discuss the solutions available. So I'll give you an example. If a client hasn't got a travel manager, but requires for duty of care purposes, solutions relating to risk assessment, policy compliance, tracking the attachment rates of booking on the program instead of maverick spend that's going direct to suppliers, those kind of elements, then a travel management company can really support and offset some of the costs that's saved from having an FTE saving by not having a travel manager. And you can use your travel management company's account management and consultancy services, of course. You can use those to offset the savings. But of course, you should be prepared to spend a fee on top of the transactional element for that, accepting that you're making an overall FTE saving of a salary cost. So my view is that it takes a skilled salesperson to look at, expose some of the offerings and make sure that they are fixed to what the client is looking for and their needs. So I wouldn't say it's the end of transactional fees. As much as it benefits a travel management company to have some fixed income, it's also, there are some clients in which a transactional fee, as I mentioned, low touch, often small and medium enterprises that benefit from that. Where I disagree with the article is where it suggests a management fee model is preferred by travel management companies, where a fixed fee is perhaps it's on an annual basis and you pay on that, or quarterly or 6 monthly, whatever. The issue here is that it's actually quite complicated to forecast and put together. So again, you need skills. You need to work out your costs, your indirect and direct costs, which is not always easy for a travel management company to do. And then also you have issues in regards to scalability. So if the client reduces their travel program greatly, they're always going to come back to the table and say, look, what I was paying was based on X number of volumes. Now I'm not getting that, but I'm still paying for that level. So it's always going to result in a sitting back onto the table and having a further discussion. So for me, the management fee model becomes a complicated relationship, and it requires ongoing assessment and trigger points in the contract that based on scale. So it's not really fixed. What I would be supportive of is subscription fee models. And this is the way the world is going. You get, even I noticed that Pret a Manger, a coffee shop, now you can, I believe it's £20 that you pay a month, and you get 5 up to a limit of 5 coffees a day. So they quote it as unlimited, but nobody has 5 coffees a day. But of course, what you have is within that, you've got the benefit of having a fixed revenue, but also enticing the client, the customer, the consumer, to come in more. And this is quite key because the coffees are the bread and butter, but much like you see my boss, Dave Bishop, a Chief Commercial Operations Officer at Grey Doors Group, once told me something that stuck with me, is that the travel management company is much like your petrol station. You've got the pump, the people who mine it, they are, let's call the airlines, the suppliers, and so on. Then you've got the ones who supply it, clean it and transport it to our pumps. They are the global distribution systems, the Sabre and so on, Amadeus are the 2 major players. They're the ones actually that make the most money. And then you've got the travel management company at the end of the line, in which they're the pump, So now the key is, if you've noticed, anyone who goes to a pump, is now you go to pay and you walk past almost a mini supermarket with loads of other, and that is where they're looking to make much needed additional revenues. And this is where a subscription fee model, in a sense, works, because you pour them in, you retail them, and then you can service them with other offerings. So you entice them in with a low cost option, as I mentioned, the coffees, and of course with Pret a Manger, they're then serving sandwiches on top, and you've got cakes and fruit and so on. And with a travel management company, you will have the additional extras, which is ancillary services, parking, chauffeur services, and so on. And then, of course, the risk and management services and things like that. I believe that is the future for travel management companies, a retailing environment, and the NDC, the direct connectivity between airlines and travel management companies, promotes that. It takes away the antiquated global distribution systems which were built in the 1970s, and very much limits the content that can be funneled through. But this direct connectivity promotes that retailing and engages into a personalized service, which is more now than ever is a requirement for travelers. So that's my recommendations. I hope you found these comments useful. If you're somebody in procurement, I'd very much look at the size and profile of your organization, look at what elements you can look at as transactional, and see what's important to you in regards to those additional services. So out of hours, how many bookings are you making out of hours? Do you need emergency service assistance? Do you need reporting? Do you need account management? And look at, if you were to effectively outsource those services from your business, so you would be saving on a resource cost. And then, of course, accept that you're going to have to pay less than your resource cost, because that's the benefit, but you're paying for that expertise at a discounted rate than what you would if you hired someone within your organization. If you're a travel management company, and this goes without saying, hire a good sales team who are able to identify what the client needs and then be able to sell those additional services. It's really as simple as that. I don't think we should be limiting our toolbox from a travel management perspective to one fee or another. It very much depends on what the client's needs are. Okay, so I hope you found this video useful. Have a look at the Time for Change article. I'm sure we'll link it at the bottom of the video. And until then, have safe travels, and I will speak to you soon.